Hi everyone, thanks for coming today. My name is Jennifer Collins. I work in the Faculty of Engineering's Engineering Graduate Studies office. I'm the Strategic Graduate Enrollment Manager there, and I'm the one who's been sending you a lot of emails about coming to this, so I appreciate you coming out. We have a pretty full agenda for you today, so I'm just going to go over that and a few other items, and then we'll get started with the presenters. So on the agenda today, we have a welcome from our Associate Dean. We're going to cover a lot of student success, resources on campus, and different information for you regarding the topics listed there. We have a student who will speak to you about her experience as an MEng student and what she took away from being a student here. And you can welcome to ask her any questions. And then we have some course planning and advising information from some of our associate chairs who you might have already met in your departments. Then there's an opportunity for you to ask questions. And then afterwards we have dinner for you and an activity. So just a couple items before we go. You might have seen the video cameras. That's just to film the presenters and the people at the front here. So if you ask a question, you won't be videotaped. It's just going to be the presenters, so don't worry about that. You're welcome to ask questions at any time. You don't need to wait until the end. So just raise your hand and we're happy to answer any questions you have at any time. And just to let you know, there's a lot of information on these PowerPoint slides. I don't want you to worry about writing it all down. We're going to email out links to all of the presentations, and then once the video is prepared in a few weeks, we'll send you a link with the video in case there's a part of it that you want to watch again or revisit later. So all that information's available for you, will be available for you later. So with that said, I'm going to introduce our Associate Dean to come up and welcome you.
So first of all, let me welcome you once again to the University of Waterloo and to the Faculty of Engineering. I would also like to congratulate you for being part of the master's program at the Faculty of Engineering. So at the Faculty of Engineering level, we are here to create the right environment so that your academic experience and also your social experience be as successful and as enjoyable as possible. So thank you for being here for this workshop today, and I understand you have already been to your orientation sessions in your home department. The reason we are doing it again at the faculty level is to emphasize the importance we give for academic integrity and also to introduce you the support structures we have at the faculty level. Right? So in the engineering grad office, what we do is we provide support for the graduate coordinators and your graduate associate chairs in your home departments with whom you will have most of your everyday interactions. And there are also instances we will be interacting with you directly. So let me just give you some facts or numbers about the engineering at the University of Waterloo. So the Faculty of Engineering has the largest percentage of the graduate student population. About 40% of the total grad student population is from the Faculty of Engineering. And this term, fall 2019, we have about 2,500 grad students enrolled in the Faculty of Engineering. And out of the 2,500, 750 are new students, of which you belong to the largest chunk, which is 349 MEng and MMSc students, followed by MASc 153 and PhD 78, MBet and MMarch 65 and 72. So that's the sort of a breakdown of the new admits for this term. And your program requirements, I'm sure you have been to this URL, you can find this all information regarding your program in this website. And one last slide just to show how the academic management works in this university. The topmost unit managing the grad studies is the GSPA, Graduate Studies and Postdoctoral Affairs, under which we have graduate studies officers, 6 graduate studies officers, each belonging to one faculty, Faculty of Engineering, and others 5 faculties, Science, Arts, Applied Health Sciences, Math, and Environment. So under the Faculty of Engineering, we have 8 academic units, 6 departments, and 2 schools. So you'll be belonging to one of those 6 departments. And depending on the program structure, and we have a pretty good interdisciplinary nature in our programs. So I'm sure if you go, depending on what your program allows, you will also have chances to take courses some other engineering departments than your home departments. So With that, I will stop here and hand it over to the topic of today, the academic integrity.
Hi everyone, my name is Erin Nearing. I am from the Office of Academic Integrity. We're a department on campus that really works to educate students, staff, and instructors on the importance of integrity within their roles on the university. So I know a lot of this information isn't going to be new to you. It's probably going to be a refresher to most of you, but it is important foundational information. Graduate students do commit academic offenses, sometimes unintentionally, so they might just not be aware of some of the rules and the policies that we have here, sometimes intentionally as well, so they might be feeling stressed out or behind in their coursework. So the purpose of today is to really go over what academic integrity looks like at the University of Waterloo. I'm going to talk about 5 of the more common academic offenses, particularly at the graduate level, and then I'm going to point you to some of the resources we have on campus to support you if you need some extra help. So when we think about academic integrity, we often think of it in a negative way, and we automatically think about academic misconduct or academic offenses, but it really is a positive behavior. So in the dictionary, it is defined as the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. And here at the university, we have adopted 6 core values that all members of the university are expected to uphold. So I'm just going to go through them quickly. The value of being honest, having and giving respect, taking responsibility for your actions, being fair, building trust, and having courage. And courage is often the value that underscores all of the other values. So oftentimes you have to have courage to be honest or have courage to take responsibility for your actions. So it's important for you to get to know the rules here. We have something called Policy 71, and it's our policy on student discipline. You can find it online. So it really sets out the expectations for you while you're studying at the university. It lists the various offenses, so I'm going to go over 5 of those offenses today, but there's a comprehensive list available for you online. And then if you find yourself in this situation, it also explains the disciplinary process and potential penalties. So the first academic offense I'm going to talk about is the most common academic offense, and it is plagiarism. So plagiarism is pretending that someone else's work, ideas, or words are your own. So for example, you're writing up a research paper and you copy and paste something from a research article without including a citation. That would be plagiarism. When you're researching for an assignment, it's important for you to make sure to cite the source of any research that you use, which means you're giving credit to the original thinker. So as scholars, we're really building on the shoulders of other scholars. We're using other people's research, we're building on it, we're connecting research. And so it's important for you to give credit where credit is due. So properly referencing your work has 2 important components. The first are in-text citations. So I've done this APA style, but there are a number of different styles. It's important to ask your instructor if you're not sure which style to use. So you can see I have a quotation here, and at the very end, I've included an in-text citation. So anytime you reference someone else's work during your research papers, make sure to include a citation. The second important piece to properly referencing your work is including a reference list. So at the very end of your assignment, make sure to include a spot that compiles all of the different sources you use throughout your paper. I'm just going to show you 3 of the most common types of plagiarism that we see. So this is the first most frequent type of plagiarism. So on the left-hand side, we have the original passage, and on the right-hand side, we have what a student has handed in. I know it might be hard to read, but the highlighted text is the copied text. So you can see the student copied and pasted over something from the textbook without including an in-text citation, so that is plagiarism. The second most common type of plagiarism, on the left-hand side, we have the original passage, and on the right-hand side, we have what a student has handed in. So you can see the student has changed some of the transition words, so they've changed the and the while, but most of the text is still the same as the original, so again, this is plagiarism. And the third most common type of plagiarism, again, on the left-hand side, we have the textbook, and on the right-hand side, we have what the student has handed in. So this student has gone a little bit further than the last 2 students. They've changed some of the keywords and phrases, but most of the sentences are still identical to what is on the left. So again, this is plagiarism. We know paraphrasing, so taking someone else's work and putting it into your own words can be tricky, but we have a lot of great resources available on campus that I'll point to at the end of the presentation. So some tips to avoid plagiarism. First, make sure to cite where you find any ideas, words, images. So really, anytime you're using someone else's ideas, make sure to cite it. Common misconception, so if you summarize an idea, you still have to cite it. So if you're taking someone else's words, you're putting them into your own words, make sure to still include it in text citation. Make sure to take detailed notes when you're doing your research. So we know as graduate students, you're doing a lot of reading and a lot of researching, and it's easy to lose track of where your sources are coming from. So as you're doing your researching and you're writing down your notes, make sure to include where your sources are coming from so that you don't inadvertently miss a citation. And then most importantly, take workshops, ask lots of questions if you're not sure, and use Waterloo's resources. So we have a lot of great resources here for citing, for paraphrasing, for quoting, which I'll point you to at the end of the presentation. The second academic offense I'm going to talk about is working together without permission. So this would be sharing work with other students when your instructor has said to work alone. So for example, your instructor hands out an individual essay, and you go to the library to work on it with your friends. That would be an unauthorized collaboration. But it's also getting too much help from tutors or editors. So tutors are great for helping you understand course concepts, and editors are great for helping you with your writing skills, but they really shouldn't be changing your work for you. As a general rule, we say if you don't know the content, don't hand it in. So if people are changing things on your behalf or they're creating responses for you, you shouldn't be handing in the work. So to avoid any issues with this, make sure to always work alone unless your instructor specifically asks for group work. So they should be clarifying if you can work in groups for something or if it should be completed individually. But if you're not sure, make sure to ask before you collaborate on something. Again, make sure you're not using a tutor's answers or a peer's answers. They're great for helping you understand course concepts, but it shouldn't be creating responses for you. And editors or friends should not be reading your work and making sure you're not rewriting work for anyone else as well. So the third academic offense I'm going to talk about is cheating. And cheating is really doing anything that gives you an unfair advantage over another student. So in this example in the picture, a student is writing an exam and they've written down the answers on the water bottle label. We know a student is most likely to cheat if they are feeling stressed out. So if you're getting behind in your coursework or you're not understanding the course concepts, we know a student might be more likely to commit an academic offense. But we do want to emphasize that getting good marks isn't as important as working hard. So you can avoid being tempted to cheat by talking to your instructor if you're feeling overwhelmed. It's always a good idea not to wait until the deadline or exam date, just to make sure that they're available to help you. Make sure you're staying healthy and leaving plenty of time to complete your assignments so you can ask for help when you need it. And make sure you're carefully following instructions on assignments and tests and ask lots of questions if you need help. The fourth academic offense I'm going to talk about is falsification. So falsification is making up research or altering results to make sure it fits your assignment. So for example, I'm collecting data, but it's not quite fitting my research paper, and so I change some of the numbers. That would be falsification. We know it can be frustrating if you put a lot of work into your research and you're not quite getting the results that you're expecting, but make sure you're not making up research or citing anything that doesn't exist. To avoid falsification, make sure to talk to your instructors if you need help. So never edit images, numbers, or text without permission. Don't try to create the perfect result. Again, we know it can be frustrating if you're not getting the results that you're expecting, but you can talk to your instructor or your librarian for help. Then the final academic offense I'm going to talk about is fabrication. So make sure you're not altering official documents. So for example, transcripts, degrees, verification of illness forms is a big one. When you're doing assignments or taking tests, or when you're applying or interviewing for a job. So for example, making up skills or experiences that you don't have. You can avoid issues by making sure that you're being truthful and honest, making sure you're not completing assignments or taking tests for anybody else, and making sure you're not making up marks, skills, experiences, or other information. And then as well, leaving yourself plenty of time to get the right information in. So for example, transcripts or reference letters. So just to summarize some of the tips I've gone over today, make sure to plan ahead. So give yourself enough time to complete your assignments and ask your instructor for help if you need it. Make sure you're taking good, thorough notes, so accurately tracking where your sources are coming from. Make sure you're giving credit anytime you use someone else's work. Making sure you're showing your instructors what you know, not what a classmate knows or a tutor knows. And making sure you're not copying answers or copying or sharing exams. And if you're unsure, it's okay to ask. In fact, we encourage you to ask as many questions as you need to. And your instructor really is the best place to start. So we recently did surveys and focus groups with grad students, and they said they're more likely to go to a peer if they have a question instead of an instructor. Peers are great, but instructor is really the best person to clarify expectations or rules for you. And I just wanted to give you a quick tour of our website. It's going to be hard to see, but this is the Office of Academic Integrity homepage. So we have information for instructors and teaching assistants and students. So the Academic Misconduct tab has a lot of what I talked about today. 2 important bullet points at the bottom. If you find yourself in this situation, this one is, I've been charged with an academic offense, what do I do? And I suspect a student has committed an academic offense, what do I do? So if you suspect a peer or a student, if you're a teaching assistant, here's the information for you. The For Students section has information about collaborating in groups, so tips to help you avoid any academic misconduct if you have group projects. We have a tab here on intellectual property and copyright. So your courses will have content that is the intellectual property of your instructors. And sharing this content, so for example, uploading it into a note-sharing platform or giving it to a third-party tutor is a violation of their intellectual property rights. So anytime you are sharing information beyond the classroom, make sure to ask your instructors for permission first. The Referencing and Research Skills tab has a lot of great information to help you with your citing. So we have information on how to cite. So we have style guides that will show you how to do your in-text citations and your reference lists. The university has citation management software. So we have something called RefWorks. It can help you create your citations for you and insert them into your document for you. We also have information on how to paraphrase and how to find and integrate your research into your assignments. And then the very last thing I wanted to highlight was the For Instructors and Teaching Assistants tab. So if you have the opportunity to be a TA within your program, there's a lot of great information here for you, particularly the Academic Integrity for TA section. There's information on what to do if you suspect academic misconduct, academic offenses and tips for you to help students avoid them, and then resources and contact information at the very end. So that is everything I wanted to talk about today. Does anyone have any specific academic integrity related questions?
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Smiling, happy, hungry? Yes? Okay, I'll make this quick. So my name is Jessica Rossi. I'm the manager of graduate studies in ECE. Just out of a show of hands, who's from ECE? I see a few familiar faces. Perfect. Those 2 in the front, perfect. So I'll be able to help you with anything. I'll be able to help any of you with anything if you need me afterwards, okay? So I'm going to be talking about student success and just opportunities you have on campus, so resources we have for you that's available to you, okay? So the first one is our libraries. We have 4 libraries that you can make use of. However, the 2 libraries you're probably going to use most often is the Dana Porter Library, which is the big tall building centrally located on campus, okay? And then the DC, so the Davis Center Library, which is located right across from E5, okay? And actually, the DC Library was just renovated and has lots of nice facilities for you to use for studying, and there's study corrals and collaborative workspaces. So I really suggest that you go over there and take a look at it. Also, if you need help at the library, there's many resources available to you. So you can talk to any of the staff members that are there, but you can also call, email, and if you visit their website, there's an online chat service. So you can just log on, chat, ask your question, and hopefully they'll be able to answer you quite quickly. So the link to that is right on the bottom here, and again, you'll be getting all of these slides, so if you need to make use of it, you can. It's right there. The next thing I want to talk about is Grad Venture. So Grad Venture is a central hub for professional development resources, specifically designed for graduate students. So they make it as like a one-stop shop. So there's workshops, professional development seminars, things like that. And it's all just to help support you guys in your professional development. It's also meant for networking. So they want you to go to these workshops, meet each other in hopes that you'll be able to pick up tips and tricks from one another. So the workshops that are available, you'll be able to find on their website. It says here there's over 150 workshops and events per year. So on their website, it'll tell you when these workshops are held. Okay? So there's also a Professional Skills Foundations, which is a credential program that you can utilize. It assesses your skills, structure your professional development, and build skills in 4 key areas, which are career preparation, communication, leadership, and personal effectiveness. So this credential program is achievable in 1 year. So for more information on this credential program, you can visit their website, and it also tells you where you can register, okay? So the Writing and Communication Center is a service provided to you to help you build on your communication, so whether that's written or oral communication, okay? There's lots of services available, so a few being Rock Your Thesis, which is learning how to plan and write your thesis, a dissertation boot camp, which will kind of help you kickstart that thesis or dissertation preparation and writing. Speaking Like a Scholar, so helping you with your presentation skills. So if you have to do a master's seminar, it'll help you, get going on that. There's a grad writing cafe where you can write together with your peers. So whether that's a thesis or a paper, you can work together to get those things done, okay? And then Waterloo Writes is just a drop-in sort of session where you can also write with some of your peers. So a few of you can go and write together in a space and hopefully feed off of one another. You can also have one-on-one and group appointments with staff members at the center. There's also online writing and communication resources and grad-specific workshops. So the Center for Career Action is a great tool for you to use when you're coming to the end of your program and you want to start your career, okay? So there's lots of workshops that are offered, job search tactics, resume building, CV building, cover letter building, interview prep, and career planning. They also offer individual appointments, drop-ins, workshops, like I said, and there's lots of online resources. So some of the workshops and events that are being held within the next little while are resume and cover letter writing for graduate students, how to make connections and interview effectively, and get a job using LinkedIn. Now, these are the workshops that are available within the next little while, but don't worry, these are offered usually every term. So just watch for emails from your grad coordinators because they'll usually send you information on this. But they're very useful tools, especially if you're going into the work world afterwards. Okay, and again, you can click on this link and you can set up appointments or go to workshops from there. So the Student Success Office offers peer success coaching. It allows you to meet one-on-one with other graduate students that could potentially help you or guide you through your program, okay? They'll be able to help you achieve your goals, identify your strengths, and share strategies and resources that can help support your learning, okay? They're located in South Campus Hall, right by the Tim Hortons. You can't miss it. That's really important. And they're open late Tuesdays and Thursdays until 6 p.m. If you want to book an appointment, they're also on that link. All right, so international student support. Out of a show of hands, who's an international student here? Okay, great. So you want to pay attention to this. So again, at the Student Success Office, we have an international student support area where we have immigration consultants that know everything there is to know about immigration, taxes, getting a SIN number, study permits, work permits, how to have family come over here to visit, helping you with, after your program, what to do afterwards. Again, getting your work permit, receiving immigration support for dependents, and again, how to invite your family over. So anything you may need to know about anything immigration, please go and see them. Your graduate advisor will also let you know that that's an opportunity for you to utilize. Again, they're in South Campus Hall, and same day appointments available Monday to Friday, 10 to 4. Another opportunity within the International Support Center is peer community. So being international students, you know, this could be your first time on campus, right? So this is an opportunity for you to meet other people, perhaps from where you've come from, and to learn about Canadian culture, okay? You can register at that link. There's also breakfast seminars. So we meet on Saturday mornings and engage, you can engage with campus staff and receive ongoing transitional support. Again, if you ever need any of this information, you can always go to your grad coordinator and they can help as well. All right? Do you have any questions? No? Well, I wish you all the best of luck.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about a couple more pieces of student success support we have for you to help you while you're on campus, or maybe make your time on campus more fun or more fulfilling. So I'm going to cover some topics under campus life. So how many of you have downloaded the Portal app already? Good. All right. Well, I don't have to talk about it. Portal has a lot of different opportunities and resources for you. There's all these different apps. They're developing it more. They just did a huge relaunch of the Portal system, so they're going to be adding more and more functionality over the next few months. So I definitely recommend download that. And you can access appointment booking, athletic schedules, campus map, open classrooms if you want to meet with a group for a group project. There's a whole list of all the available classrooms across campus. If you're saying, I'm in MC and I want to work with this group, is there a room open near me? It can tell you that on Portal. So I would definitely recommend downloading that. Next is the Waterloo Warriors. So that is our team at the University of Waterloo. We're the Warriors, woo. And so as a student here, you have access to all of our recreation facilities. So you can play squash or use the pool or join an intramural team, take a class with an instructor, use the gym to work out. And there's fitness classes. You can also volunteer with rec if you're interested in that. And we just want to let you know there is football, the American football style, versus the university, York University on September 28th at 1 o'clock. So if you want to get into some black and gold clothing, show some school spirit and check that out and see what that game is like, I'd recommend you seeing that there. So the Graduate Student Association is a group of students who were voted into their positions by other students. So it's a peer group nominated by their peers to represent you as graduate students to the university, to the Senate, to different groups on campus, and be advocates for graduate students. So if you have any issues that come up that you think you could need some support with, or that you think there's a big issue that needs to be addressed by university leadership or the president or the provost, you can go to the Graduate Student Association and talk to them about that and see if you can get support from them. You can also go to work with them. You can volunteer at their events. They have a lot of social events and gatherings happening. They also run a pub on campus, if you haven't seen it yet, called the Grad House, which is just beside South Campus Hall in an old barn, which is actually the first building that was ever on campus in the 1950s, when this used to be all farmland in one building, and it was the Grad House. So now it's a pub and not engineering like it was originally. You can see that it's all graduate students there. They have a really nice patio in the summertime. There's food there as well, and it's a great place to meet other graduate students and just be among your peers in a really casual setting. If any of you are part of the LGBTQ community or would like to be an ally and to know what activities are happening on campus for that community, I really want to point out the GLOW Center to you. It's the longest running club of that kind across campus, across Canada. And there's resources for students in the LGBTQ community. There's discussion groups and a library there if you want to read up on different resources. They have a lot of lists of accessible washrooms and support for transgender students and They have a lot of different activities happening for that group. So if you're part of that community or would like to be an ally to that community, I'd recommend that you get in touch with them. And they're found in the Student Life Center in room 2102. And you can ask at the turnkey desk there where to find that room, because that building's a bit hard to navigate. So just feel free to ask questions. Anyone in that building should be able to direct you there. Okay, now I'm going to move on to some health and wellness. We hope that all of our students are healthy and well the whole time that they're with us here at the University of Waterloo, but that's not always the case. So there's a few services that are directly there to support you should something happen while you're a student here. So I'm going to talk through the different resources we have and maybe in what situation you might reach out to the different ones. I know this is potentially hard to read on the smaller screens here, but first is accessibility services. If you have a learning disability, or you're on the autism spectrum, or you break your arm, or you have depression, or any illness or affliction that means that you can't perform in your course like all of the other students, you want to talk to accessibility services to see if they can work with your instructor in your department to provide an accommodation, which means that they will make an exception for you, or maybe you write a test at a different time, or you have a extension, or you have another person there to help you with any challenges that you're facing in your course or your program. So the moment, or as soon as you determine that you're having something that's really making it harder for you to complete your course and to compete with to work at the pace that your peers are working at, you want to reach out to accessibility services, and they can help you there. So their office is located in Needles Hall, and you can walk in anytime and talk to them or send them an email, and they'll take you through the steps and everything that's necessary to do that. So the equity office is sort of a bigger picture office where they look at across campus where are there opportunities to make things more accessible for everyone, to make things more equal, that everyone has the same opportunities. So they work on a lot of bigger picture projects like providing training and workshops, and they provide consultation on different equity issues across campus. So some of the things they've worked on are religious accommodations, name and gender changes, if people are changing their name and gender while they're students here, and providing free menstrual products on campus, an anti-racism strategy, and other different resources. So this is a pretty new office on campus, but if you're, we have some examples here of when to come and see the equity office, and they're located in math and computing. So if you or your colleagues are experiencing an equity-related barrier and need help determining next steps, process, or some support, so that's when you feel like you don't have the same opportunity that someone else has for different reasons. If you have any questions about best practices in relation to being inclusive, so if you want to learn yourself how to be more equitable and how to treat people more equitably, you can do that. And if you have any ideas or suggestions on where equity-related gaps are on campus. So you can reach out to them for that. As I said, it's a sort of newer office, so we're still learning and growing every day. We've seen a lot of changes in the last 5 years, and hopefully we just keep moving forward. So the next one is engineering counseling services. So there's a counseling services group where for across campus, all students can access it. And there's actually an engineering specific counselors who are there just for students in engineering, so they know a lot more maybe about what your workload is like or what the kinds of courses you're taking are than the general counselors, but you can really see anyone on campus who's one of our counselors. You can access appointments there on the Counseling Services website anytime. Just wanted to know, as I said, we want everyone to be well and healthy the whole time that they're a student here, but it's really common for students in graduate programs or students who are far from home for the first time to feel sort of sad or feel confused or anxious about what's happening in their program. And if you do feel sad or that you can't keep up or that everything seems really hard, we really want you to reach out to your department coordinator or your associate chair, or you can go talk to someone at Counseling Services. It's very normal here. There shouldn't be any shame in asking for help. We want everyone to feel as good as possible while they're here. So please know that resource is there, and it's really common for students to connect with a counselor at some point in their graduate program. Just so you know, anytime you talk with a counselor or work with them, it's a confidential space, so any information that you share about a professor or about your department or anything, it all stays in that room. So all of the information is private and just shared with the counselor, and so you can feel comfort in knowing that they're not going to be telling your department what you said or things like that. It's all private. Okay? New this year, we have 2 mental health resources. So one is a how-to for University of Waterloo of how to navigate the health system at the University of Waterloo. It's 17 pages, which means that it's a complicated process, but it was written by students for students, so we think that should be a really good resource for you if you have any challenges with mental illness and want to know how to navigate that at university. And then there's a mental health resource bank, so if you want to talk to someone outside of university or you need to see a psychologist and can't get in here, there's a list of all of the different practitioners across Kitchener-Waterloo that you can contact.
Hi everyone, is the sound good? Thank you for having me. So my name is Fatima. I am actually graduate from the MEng program in mechanical engineering with the co-op option in design engineering. And I'm also an international student. Fun fact, I've been an international student for close to 7 years now. My undergrad was first in Ghana. I had some internships in the UK as well as Germany, and now I'm in Canada. Also, I also work as a career leader at the Center for Career Action. So, and now I'm currently doing my PhD with Professor Don, still in mechanical engineering. So mainly today, I'm just gonna, things I wish I knew before I started my program. It might not be useful for everyone, but just in case someone here has an experience similar to mine, then it will be great. I think the first thing I learned through my program, or wish I knew, was that like the professors are there to help. So I kind of started in the winter term. You're lucky to be starting in September. You know, there's so much resources, but winter is like the snow at first. Like I was just confused. So I just, you know, like thank God for my professors. Like, yes, some of my questions were stupid, but it was good that I asked those stupid questions because, like, I was just lost. So realizing that the professors are there to help you, they actually want you to pass the course. So really, they are there to answer any question that you might have. And also, it's also learning that it's not really what you know that's important. It's mainly what you're willing to learn. So Waterloo there's so many things going on. You would learn about the different teams. Everyone is doing something great. And there are emerging fields everywhere, I'm just gonna give everyone a few minutes to sit down. So, so as I was saying, so really, it's not really, there's gonna be emerging fields, there's gonna be new things, there are gonna be different research or different collaborative teaming or classes doing something really fantastic. And it's never really about what you already know, it's what you're willing to learn. So rather than panicking when you learn about something amazing that someone else is doing, just know that if I'm actually interested in this, I can learn it. And it's not what I know that's gonna get me that final job at the end, but it's mainly what have I shown my willingness to learn, even if it's only the beginning stages. I might not be as in-depth as someone else, but really it's just that I'm willing to learn this and I'm willing to give it my everything. And also, something else I wish I knew is that there's a resource for everything. So I know you're gonna have the slides later on, and then you could go through, but usually it's like when you run into a roadblock, just think, okay, there's gonna be a resource for this. And this could be from your taxes to the study permits, or even your work permits, or your post-graduation permits, or even if it's just career planning, or hey, I'm looking for a part-time job on campus, or I'm looking to volunteer, there's the Leads platform. There's so many resources for everything. There's literally a department for everything. So if you run into a roadblock or you're like, I'm trying to figure out how to do this, probably just go to the website and Google, and you will find something that can do this for you. And last but not the least is always read your emails. This, number one, because of free food. I love free food. Like in my lab, I have this title called VP Free Food. Like, I know where all the free foods are, and that's because from my email. But minus that, like, on my way upstairs, I met an embed student that I knew, and she said she's just starting this term, but she's already TAing for a course. And I was like, interesting, your first term, how did you? She was like, oh, they just sent out an email before we started, and I read and I applied. And that's how I know of people that found jobs. Just there was a time Apple was looking for someone in some field, and they just decided that they mainly wanted to advertise this by email to grad students at Waterloo. No job boards, no nothing. So you never know what is buried in those very lengthy emails that you might get. So you should try to read them as frequently as possible. And that's just my 2 cents. And I'll be around. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Or if you have any questions now, I'm happy to take them.
I'm going to present a couple of slides. First, I should say I'm Cécile Deveau. I'm the Associate Chair for Grad Studies in Mechanical and Mechatronics Engineering. Okay, I'm going to speak up. Thank you. So on that first slide, and I'm somehow guessing that you should know who your academics advisor is, but you have a list of all the different Associate Chair for Grad Studies for the different departments. And so these different people here are really here to help you on that. We want you to succeed, yeah? We don't want you to fail. That's the disaster scenario, yeah? So we're here, and I'm speaking on behalf of all the associate chair, but we're here to help you to try to address any concerns, any issues. Come and ask questions as early as possible if something is not going well. Yeah? And it doesn't matter if it sounds like a stupid question, but especially when you start, there are so many things you have to handle. Please don't hesitate to go and see the associate chair or even somebody in the grad studies office. Yeah? Don't wait when you have a problem. Okay. So one of the first critical steps you're going to have to make, especially if you're in your first term here, it's going to be the course selection. Yeah, and that's critical because typically in most MEng programs, you're going to have to do specific courses, like core courses. And these core courses, or even in general, these courses are not offered every term. Yeah? So you're going to have to plan a little bit ahead. And as well, sometimes courses get cancelled at the last minute. So it's good to have a backup. But in terms of maybe what you expected, don't try, especially the first term, don't try to take too many courses. I know there's a financial aspect that you're trying to finish as quickly as possible. I get this. But really the first term, take it easy. 1, 2 courses, up to 3 courses if you're a full-time student. If you're a part-time student, you can only take 1 course per term. Yeah. So really the first 2-3 weeks, and we'll see at the end, there's a course drop deadline. So this term is September 24th. So you have roughly 3 weeks to make up your mind on your courses. You can add, you can drop courses whenever you want on Quest. So take your time, go and attend many different lectures from different courses, talk to the instructors to try to figure out which courses are going to be best for you. Best in terms of topic, best in terms of schedule and assignments and exams. Yeah? Especially if you're a part-time student, you may have to juggle with your full-time job and then your own studies. So you have to make some time for exams, for projects. So keep this in mind, and please don't hesitate to go and talk to the course instructors. Yeah? They will help you. Yeah. What else? Your program typically will take at least 3 full terms to complete. Yeah. Each term is 4 months. We have 3 terms. Here it is. So, the last point, the course drop deadline, that's really, really, really important. After this deadline, so September 24th for fall, you're stuck. You're stuck. So what that means, unless you get run over by a bus or you have very, very, very special circumstances, you cannot drop a course anymore. Yeah, so that's why you really take your time, make sure you select the right courses. Yeah, that's so. Okay.
So I'm Rob Dumering. I'm the Associate Chair for Grad Studies in Management Sciences. And I think a bunch of management science students just walked in late, didn't you? What's the matter with you guys? Class, okay, sorry. Now, actually, I have a question maybe for Siva about this last point. There's been some change in the rules about drop dead. Could you maybe clarify what were the official rules about dropping dead? Yeah. So I know at the university level things have changed, but engineering is sticking with the existing rules. Okay, so I guess be aware of that because there has been, I think, some double talk in some ways. So there's inconsistency in the rules. Yeah, yeah. So for sure, pay attention to these drop dead deadlines. Okay. All right. A couple of other things just to sort of give you heads up. The idea of being a TA, I know many of you would like to get a TA position and make some extra money. There is an expectations workshop, we call it, that's held at the end of the term, just before exams. Unfortunately, the scheduling is a bit awkward for students because it's right between classes and final exams, so it kind of interferes a little bit with grading, or sorry, preparing for exams. But it is a requirement for TA positions. I know there have been some exceptions. Certainly in our department, we have offered some TA positions already for the fall term, but we expect you to sort of, work with your professor to try to, get up to speed as quick as possible for the current term and take the expectations course in December. Although we are your academic advisors, this list of people is probably more important than us for most of your day-to-day interaction with the program. These various coordinators, each department has one. Very important people for many, many kinds of questions about process, getting approvals, paperwork. They're really the experts. We're better maybe on some of the academic questions. They're certainly much better than us on a lot of the process procedural questions. So please get to know your academic advisors, but also get to know your program coordinators. They're very helpful people. This last point, I guess not all departments do offer TA positions to MEng students. I know we in our department do, so I'm not sure which department that refers to, but okay. Not as many. Okay. And then one more heads up for something coming later in the term. November 14th, there is going to be a career services is going to offer a skills workshop for career planning, career preparation. You should get formal announcement through email. So echoing the last speaker, read your emails. You'll get lots of them, and there is occasionally important information in those emails. All right, thank you. Oh, any questions before we go? We'll certainly be around afterwards for questions, but if you have any now, by all means.
Okay, so we're about to wrap things up. Getting to the most important stuff, dinner. So just as a bit of a summary, so first, oh, hi. Yeah, all students should have access to Waterloo Works. Sorry, the question was, do all MEng students have access to Waterloo Works? And yeah, yes, you do. So just a lot of people ended up coming in late. Before you leave, if you can grab a name tag and then sign in on the sign-in sheets on the back table there, that would be great. We just want to make sure we know who is here. And we'll be sending out the presentation and the video that we're taking of the presentation to you in the next few weeks. So you'll be able to revisit that, or if you missed the first part of the workshop, you can watch it then as well. So here's just sort of a summary of some questions that you might come upon in your program and who you can talk to for that. Yeah, so I'm not going to go through them each line, but there's a lot of different people on campus here to support you. Hi.
I know you said that you're going to send out a lot of this stuff in the coming weeks. Would it be possible to get, for example, like the summary, like this slide, soon?
Yes. So the question was if we can get the presentation sooner. This will be sent out tomorrow. It's just the video will take a few weeks. You're going to get a lot more emails from me. yeah, so this is just a summary for you, and you might want to print it out and have it as a resource as things come up. So here are some next steps for the future. We're going to be sending out a survey. This is only the second year that we've done a workshop like this or event like this, so we really need your feedback to help make it better. We got a lot of feedback last year from students, and it was really helpful for us to change things for this year, so I would really appreciate if you could take some time to fill that out. If you have any other questions from this workshop, we will all be here afterwards to talk to you, but if questions come up in the future, definitely check out, make sure you contact your advisors or talk to your department coordinators. As was just mentioned, they have a lot of the answers for you and will direct you to the right resource. If you have any questions about your courses, your course instructors made the courses, they're the experts of the courses, they're the heroes of the courses, they can answer all those questions for you, so make sure that you talk to them. It's very common that students will reach out to professors, so please don't hesitate in doing that. And yeah, we'll be sending out links and the survey in the next couple days, and then the video will come in a couple weeks. And lastly, so this year we're having dinner after this presentation, and before everyone leaves the room, I want you to grab one of these bingo cards. We'll have them by the back door. So these are just a way to get to know some of the other students that are here today, and they're just little questions like finding someone who can play an instrument or has a cat or a dog. So we want you to write your name on this card and then introduce yourself to some new people and find someone who has the characteristics that are listed on the card. Once your card is complete, you can hand it in by 7 o'clock. And you'll have a chance to win a really good prize package with a lot of goodies. And we have 3 of those available, so it's definitely worth your while to do that. So after this, you'll leave by the back. Please sign in if you did not do that when you came in earlier, and grab a bingo card, and we'll go outside, and dinner will be waiting there. And then submit your card, and you can win a prize. All right. Thank you very much.